Hello again, Ditte. Thank you for being part of Data 2020 Summit. It's really a pleasure having you here with us today.
Thank you.
Before we jump into further questions, so can you tell us more about yourself, your background, and the company that you're representing today?
Sure thing. Well, my name is Ditte Brix. I work for Stibo Systems, which is a master data management company in the multi-domain area. And I have a background within IT, communication, and organization. So it's just really broad IT management perspective, where we're constantly trying to see what is it that the businesses are trying to achieve, like the business goals, and then how can IT and data help them to achieve those goals. Yeah. And I think what's really important and so great about working in Stibo Systems is that they also have this business first mindset. So it's all about really connecting with and figuring out what is it that the customer is trying to achieve, and how can data help them? Yeah.
Great. So we've gathered here today discussing about how organizations can actually prepare for this famous data-driven future, right? So from your perspective, how would these organizations, let's say, speed up this process in becoming data-driven?
Well, first of all, I think I would ask companies, why do you need to be data-driven? I think that's something that is lacking for some companies, understanding really like, why is it that we're doing this? Are we doing it because all the other companies are doing it? Or are we doing it because we actually have a business goal by doing it? So that's like the first angle I would take. Obviously, the answer would often be that becoming digital helps you with a lot of achieving those business goals. And we can see that for, I especially work with the customer domain, where GDPR is a very big part of that. It's all about personal data, And I can really see that a lot of the challenge that companies are facing is this whole trying to create a good customer experience, being consistent in the message that you send out to your customers. And this is what we're helping companies do. So that's very interesting.
Well, you mentioned GDPR, and now that is one of the, let's say, most discussed topics, at least lately. So, and you also mentioned that you care about your customers' needs. So, what do you think? What would some of these challenges be for companies trying to actually get into the GDPR process and implement it in the best possible way?
Yeah. Well, I've been speaking to a lot of companies worldwide, and they all seem to have like 4 major challenges. The first one is actually understanding who's my individual, like whether that's your employee or customer or contact person and so on. So who is it that I'm really supposed to exercise these rights for? So when, let's just take a customer. When a customer calls in and says, could you please provide me with an overview of all my data? Well, then that company needs to know that actually Ditte Brix and Ditte Brix Andersen and Ditte Andersen, even though I have these 3 records or these 3 representation in different systems, that's actually the same person. So that's like the major challenges for a lot of companies, because right now, information is just spread out across different systems. So creating that one view of your individual, that's really crucial. The second one is when I have that view of my individual, then I also need to know what that person has subscribed to. So that being the different business processes, for example. So a newsletter, or I said yes to automatic profiling, or these different things that people consent to. The third challenge being, well, I've consented to this purpose, but for this business process to be able to take effect, let's say the newsletter, for example, well, then we need to have different information. So we need to have the first name, we need to have the newsletter, we might even have gender information and so on to personalize it a bit more. So having that mapping between what data do I use for what purpose, and do I have the consent for it? That's also extremely important. So I mentioned 3 now. Yeah, the fourth one would then be to know, okay, where is my data? Who has access to it? Who's using it? And how long is it valid for? And so on. So the whole data governance piece is also really essential.
Well, looking at data management technology or its practice, from your point of view, so how do you see it? What can we expect, let's say, in the next 12 months?
So from a GDPR perspective?
Yes, and from what you have encountered in your journey.
Yeah. Well, I think we can expect a lot of companies, I see that already today, also just by talking to some companies here, that GDPR is kind of scaring them. It's because it is this big regulation, you know, but from my point of view, I think we also need to change the mindset a bit. So instead of thinking about, you know, the negative or the workload that companies will need to put into this, or the resources, then I mean, take the positive side, because this is like a unique opportunity for business to actually deep dive into all that amazing data they have lying around and figure out, do we actually use it for something? So I think within the next 12 months, we'll see some companies still panicking, but we'll definitely also see companies that are trying to actually, you know, create this unique version of their individuals, really trying to specify, okay, we have these different kind of data, do we use it for something? If not, well, then we either need to use it for something, or, you know, yeah, figure out how
to the customer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, Ditte, it was a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. My pleasure,
for your input.